This stream contains fast flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised.
Today we got ourselves a Masters Shanghai Finals rematch and the next chapter in an old rivalry ahead of us. What a day it's going to be. Hello everyone and welcome back to Champions Tour. We're coming at you live once again from the COEX Artium right here in Seoul, South Korea. Of course, I'm Golden Boy here on the desk currently with Mimi and Sideshow, and we're going to talk about video games today, everyone.
Woo! Woo! Wait, what a change.
Yeah. Oh, heck
I've never done that before.
I was here for the geopolitics, but I guess if we're going to talk about video games...
Yes, exactly.
I thought we were going to be on the debate analyst test with 10 other people.
Yeah, no, actually, we got that canceled. Wasn't in the budget. In any case, so normally, we like to do a recap of the previous matches, you know, talk about all this stuff, but nah, we ain't gonna do that today. Today, we're gonna look at some of the best moments of Champs so far with a little bit of a twist. It's time for some wordplay. Yes, you see, and I did jazz hands too to make it really emphasize the thing. Nice. All right, so we're each going to cast an incredible highlight, but here's the thing, and you guys have seen this before, we're going to have to find a way to work in 3 words on screen. And apparently, according to the script that's in front of me, I go first, which is news to me. So
it was in my contract I'd only do it if you go first.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much.
I have to be the last one to do it so I can show everyone.
You're actually so talented. So.
Oh.
Now, bear in mind, I commentated Valorant like 2 years ago, so go easy on me, chat. All right, here it is, our first words. Let me see what we got. I'm curious, I'm scared. My words are hospitality, avant-garde. What is an avant-garde?
Wait, do you really not know the definition?
No, don't tell him. For God's sake, don't tell him the definition. It'll be fun.
No,
It'll be
that's
so
my
much fun.
question.
I'm going to figure, you know what? Let's just do it anyway. We'll do it live. All right, I'll go first. Let's see what this clip is. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, well, I have a great observation here that we're about to see some lovely hospitality from our attacking team as this squad is trying to make their way into the site here. You got yourself a little bit of a paranoia, but a whiffing on the shot and avant-garde. Oh, my God. Wow, what a moment there as we just saw some wild stuff. And mind you, I did fit in hospitality and observation because I'm just so heckin' good at my job.
Before you even got to the 1v3.
That's right, baby. And then we have Meteor. Now he's going to put out the turret, waiting for an opportunity. He's got that sheriff in hand, looking to see if he can get someone to peek a little bit. Turns around, aim lab, bop, pops him right in the face. Looking for another one. Maybe he gets him, maybe he doesn't. His tens is looking to get him. I heckin' love that guy, but no, Meteor doesn't love him. And instead he shoots him in the booty. And that is going to be my clip.
Okay, I mean, the casting was heinous, but I can't believe that was the first round of Champs. What a way to kick it off.
That actually was.
1v3
ridiculous. Also, he doesn't know what avant-garde means.
I don't know what avant-garde, what is that?
It's an art movement.
It's an art movement?
Yeah.
How was I supposed to fit an art movement into a commentary thing?
It can be synonymous with something unusual.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, something
counterculturally.
All right. Well, Mimi, you're up now, okay? Let's see what you got here.
Give me good words.
Your words are good.
I hope I know the definition of all of them.
Beneficiary, three-toed sloth. See, I would have taken a three-toed sloth.
Okay.
And ratio.
Just generally, you would have taken
Of course, they gave the Zuma ratio.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they gave me avant-garde.
Give me the clip.
All right, let's see
I'm
what our clip is.
locked in. Fnatic Billy this game. Okay.
Ooh.
Fnatic on the attacking side. Match point. Durka's already into the site, and he'll be the beneficiary of a headshot from Yosemite's Vandal. Trips will be broken. They'll stall for a second while they wait for the wingman to get in on the plant. Slow in this one. Alpha on the plant, but his teammates falling around him. Yosemite ready to push around the other side, but now with that timer ticking against them, it's still a man advantage up. Alpha has to make a play. Moving slowly into this one, a three-toed sloth on the swing. He'll still win it. Boaster there. It's a 2-for-1 exchange. Down to the 2v3. Hero and Boaster, a lot to do here, and the ratio of players works against him as Neff finds another. Down to the rookie. Already finding one. Second on the swing for Hero. Why is he the only one to follow? Ultimate in, damage done, spam ready to come through, and Hero is a hero.
I mean, you finished it with a terrible pun. I mean, you were doing so well, and you just bungled the landing.
Yeah.
I thought it was too serious, so I wanted to fix it.
I mean, you got very sweaty, and look at me, I'm glistening. So, I mean, come on, it's shenanigans. All right, let's Take a
ready
look.
for mine.
Not bad, though. Not bad, Mimi. Good
Thank
job.
you.
Better than I would ever
Wilkinson,
hope
you're
to
up.
do. All
I
right.
haven't done play-by-play in like 9 years. Give it a try. Bring it up. What kind of sick, disgusting words have you got for me to fit in here?
We got, roll your R's.
Roll my R's? What, all of them?
Advertising and
No,
interference.
not advertising. Advertising.
Advertising.
And interference.
Oh, yeah. Actually, you got to do it just like that. Go.
Okay, well, here we go then. Let's kick it off. It's G2 versus PACIFIC, and we'll have a look at what the clip is. We've got Leaf covering the flank. He's picked up a Phantom. Unbelievable. Repping that Oni Phantom. A little bit of advertising for Riot as well as he takes
Repping.
down 3. It's unbelievable. Crazy interference to what PACIFIC was doing. PACIFIC. I did forget to roll my R's at all times, but yeah, I guess I'm the only one that technically failed that challenge.
What was the third? You didn't say one of your words.
Yeah, it was interference.
Advertising.
Advertising, that's what I said. I said advertising for Riot.
did.
The
But you
Oni
didn't say
Phantom.
advertising.
That's very
Yeah.
true.
Oh, that was great.
Thank
roll,
you,
roll your
Josh.
R again. Okay, and you roll your R? I'm so proud of both of you. Proud that moment. This has never happened before. Oh, man.
Can
Well,
people not roll their R?
Yeah,
a lot of
plenty
people
can.
can.
Really?
Yeah. It's quite difficult.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I feel like I'm seducing you when I do it when it's outside
Hey.
the word.
Anyway.
I
Don't like
There's something about the bald men together.
Don't like that.
All right, folks. So
HR?
back to the here
HR.
and now. Let's go ahead and take a look at our current bracket, shall we? And all of our teams already played one match, but today we got some fun ones here. You got Fnatic, of course, going up against DRX and then Gen G and Team Heretics. We will figure out who the #1 seeds of Group A and B are today. And let's go ahead and check out our pick'ems powered by AWS. Now, with Trace's win over Vitality last week, 100% is kind of difficult. Shout out to the 10% of you that I think might still be in it.
Yeah?
I mean, who knows? Trace going up against Leviathan, if they're able to win it, it'll boom 90% of brackets. But I can't believe that they're going to be able to beat both Vitality and Lev. Who knows?
It would be a ridiculous world if they could win both of those matches. I think some other surprises here. I would give FPX a better chance than 11.5% to make it out.
Absolutely.
I think they're really evenly matched in that game against Sentinels,
Yeah.
considering both teams' form.
You know, I said that. I said absolutely. I agreed with you. But actually, it's Gen G Heretics in that group. So no, I don't agree with you.
But
They've
they
got
could
a very
get
small
third.
chance. Yeah, they could get third.
Yes.
Yeah.
These teams that we're about to watch today, they're in a class above, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to be watching here today because, as I had mentioned previously, we got the winners of Group
Wait a
A
minute. You
and
think
Group
Heretics
B.
is in a class above FPX? I don't think that's true.
I think they are when they get going.
Save it.
Sure.
Save the material. Now, first, we're going to see Gen G taking on Team Heretics, and then after that, it's going to be DRX going up against Fnatic, a Champs Classico. We're all excited for that one. And, guys, I think it's safe to say that we have back-to-back 2 DOS certified bangers today. Run the graphic. Dang. Yes. Yes. The horn. Good horn usage.
I would agree with you. These games are ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're going to get this from all of those winners' games in all of the groups, I think. But today, there's just something special.
Yeah.
The Riot script, it never fails.
No.
It's great. Just the history between both these matches is great. A finals rematch from our last global event, and then a match that we've seen at the last 2 champions as well.
Yeah.
Should be really good.
Yeah, it will be so awesome, and we're very much looking forward to these matches here. But while you got your phone out here, because we know you do, why don't you go ahead and scan the QR code, take part in today's MasterCard fan poll. Which of our 2 matches is the biggest banger, the largest banger, some might say? Gen G, what are you doing?
I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to
It's-
scan it.
You're scanning
You're
his body.
scanning me.
Yeah, well, it's not
Which, by the way, I welcome it. We'll have the results in just a little bit. Remember, okay, use those hashtags, VALORANT Champions, VCT, all throughout the event. If you want to see your stuff featured out throughout the broadcast, we love to hear from you. Now, every VCT pro wants to make it to a global event. Sure, it's all about the fame, the glory. It's all nice, right? But it's really about getting to try some delicious new food from all around the world. And earlier, Boaster met up with DRX's Mako for some soul food. That's a pun, kids.
Right.
Hello everyone, Fnatic Boaster here, and today I'm joined with DRX Mako, and we're going to be trying out some Korean food and talking all things VALORANT Champions. What's this called?
김부각.
Gimbuga.
이건 이제 김을 튀긴 건데, 네, 김을 튀긴 음식입니다.
Well, I'll try it just for you. Let's have a feel then. Oh, it's like crisp. It's like yeah, it's nice. I take it. How are you feeling? Like any expectations for this champs?
아무래도 첫 IGL로 국제대회로 나오는 거기 때문에 상당히 이전보다는 좀 더 많이 긴장하는 상태로 나온 것 같아요.
Really? And how is it being at IGL? Are you tired yet? Lots of hours, long days.
확실히 IGL을 하기 전이랑 후가 좀 많이 달라진 느낌이에요. 그래서 IGL들이 왜 힘들어하는지 좀 많이 알 수 있는 것 같고 대선배시고 이제 너무 그동안 고생이 많았을 거라고 생각을 하고 있어요.
Big senpai. Oh, that's very cute of you. Oh. Right, what is this then? Yeah.
This food name is 약과.
Yakwa.
약과.
And what is it?
한국의 전통적인 음식이라고 볼 수 있습니다.
I want to try it for you. What is it? Tastes alright though.
저도 잘 몰라요.
It's like a cookie,
예.
but not a cookie.
Yes.
I'll have another one if you don't mind. I'll have a bit more. And while I have a bit more, can you tell me? I haven't seen you all year. You know, we didn't qualify for Madrid, and then obviously you didn't qualify for Shanghai Masters. What's the difference between then and DRX now?
아무래도 이제 리빌딩적인 부분에서 초반에는 많이 힘들었었는데 이제 시즌이 후반부로 갈 동안 이제 좀 많은 성장을 이뤄왔고 시즌 초반에는 좀 많이 엉터리였는데 시즌 후반에는 이제 저희가 약간 좀 길을 찾고 팀합이 어느 순간부터 좀 잘 맞기 시작하다 보니 또 이렇게 마드리드랑 상하이는 놓쳤지만 챔피언스에는 다시 진출하게 된 것 같아요.
I heard Bane wants to go karaoke with me. He's quite handsome, and can he sing?
베인 선수 또 하빈이가 그거는 이제 좀 상대적인 거라서 아마 좀 같이 가보면 알 것 같은데 그냥 좀 부르는 정도인 것 같아요. 좀 잘 부르는 정도. 네.
I got one song prepared for you guys. I prepared a Korean song for you to sing just in case we go karaoke together. Well, this is kimchi. I know kimchi. I've had kimchi because I don't eat meat, so I eat mainly kimchi every day. So yeah, I like kimchi. I'd say, who do you want to play the most at this event? Other than Fnatic.
저는 이제 21년도 때부터 지금까지 계속 크루를 칭찬해 왔었고 크루랑 한번 붙어보고 싶다라고 생각을 했었는데 지금 마침 조별리그에서 지금 크루를 만나게 되어서 지금 되게 좀 재밌을 것 같긴 해요. 네.
Well, fist bump to that. See you in the tournament, hopefully. We get to play. We've played at every champion so far. But that is all we have time for today. So thank you all for watching. And yeah, we'll see you when we start playing.
I'll tell you one thing, kimchi is the greatest thing ever, and everyone should eat it. It's pretty much the best. Now, let's go ahead and dive into our first matchup here. Of course, Gen G is going to be taking on Heretics, and we last saw these two teams go head-to-head against one another at the Shanghai Final. And this was a Heretics team that came into it with a roster change. They had Woot playing the duelist role, but it was such a run that Heretics had gone on there, Mimi.
I mean, yeah, they were ridiculous. They stepped up big time, played, I think, the best form they've had all year at this event, and it looked like it was going to be hyper-competitive in this final. Team Heretics even taking Ascent over Gen G, but then we got to the last two maps of the final, and Heretics kind of crumbled, winning only 7 rounds across the last 2 maps of that series, and Gen G, of course, went on to lift the trophy.
Yeah, we also had the race between Woot and Meteor for who was going to be the Shanghai MVP. It looked like it was going to be Woot. He was running it all the way up, and then, like you said, that crumbled towards the end. There are just so many MVP candidates on this Gen G team, though.
Yeah.
You just kind of roll the dice in any major tournament that they attend
Yeah.
to see who's going to be the standout player, because it can almost be any of them.
I think as well. I mean, it's kind of this conversation for both these guys playing into their rookie year, their first time ever coming to these global events and competing for who's going to be taking that prize as Rookie of the Year. And for me, it's no contest. If Gen.G can lock up this tournament, even keep a final, and Karen maintains even an iota of his form, it should be him, because the kid's been ridiculous all year long.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more with that. And of course, Gen.G had an opportunity to right the wrong from the Masters Madrid final where they lost to Sentinels in the grand finals. They end up picking up that win, but they didn't just pick up that win. They looked so damn strong in the process. That was a little bit of a shocker for me. I still have Gen.G going all the way, but I mean, and part of the reason why is because you got guys like Karen who, at a drop of a hat, we were talking about it before, guys who can just pop off at any point in time. And it's going to be a tall task as he takes on Woot, who's back in his usual role in this matchup.
Right, and I think a lot of people will be looking forward to seeing Woot on that duelist, but Karen, he's just been playing Smokes all year. He's clearly the best Smokes player in the world. There's actually nobody that's really on his level. You might look towards people like King, but Karen is still out in the league.
Yeah.
And he's a rookie. So he's, I mean, a massive frontrunner for Rookie of the Year. He'd have to give up playing Valorant halfway through the tournament to be caught.
Makes sense, of course. Now, Texture and Karen, two players that we talked about Karen here, but Texture as well, another guy who has just been utterly on fire too. I mean, we know we're giving Karen a lot of love here, and I think it's for good reason, but you know, you also just have so many tools on that Gen.G side, Mimi, that makes it really, really difficult to pick a favorite on this squad.
For my money, Texture is playing like the best Jet that we have right now. Maybe Ospot's giving some competition in that role if Durka gets back in form, but this guy has just been lights out. I think the style that Gen.G play, they're an incredibly confident team. I think their biggest strength is how incredible their team synergy is between these players, and even when it's not the strategy that's winning them games, it's the ridiculous firepower they have across this roster.
And the firepower can get shown in stats. You can bring up stats from Texture, Karen, Meteor, and you know how good they are. But then you watch the game that they played against Sentinels and Munchkin's lurks on Haven.
Yeah.
Those don't show up in the stats, and they were winning rounds time and time again. His calling's excellent. The team system that they've got together is pretty immaculate.
Yeah.
And that's why they're in the running for this tournament against Fnatic, who we're going to see later on, for greatest roster of all time. They actually, that is within their grasp right here at Champs.
Yeah, they could very well achieve that, and it would be incredible if they were able to do so. But ahead of Champs, Achilleo sat down with Texture to talk about playing in front of the home crowd here at Champions and so much more. Let's check it out.
Hello everybody, Achilleos here, and I am standing by with Jen, as well as none other than Texture. Texture, annyeonghaseyo, thank you for joining me. I just wanted to pick your brain. You've had quite the year so far here in 2024. Every grand final you could possibly make, you've been in it, you've lifted a couple trophies, you've got the Masters Shanghai most recently, you've got Stage 2 here in Korea. Off the rip, getting ready to go to the Champions, how are you feeling?
일단 당연히 기분은 너무 좋고, 일단 그리고 무엇보다도 챔피언스 가기 전에 마지막 대회를 우승으로 이제 트로피를 들면서 이제 챔피언스를 온 게 너무 일단 저희한테 있어서는 기분 좋은 일단 스타트인 것 같아요. 그리고 뭐 사실 기세나 이런 거는 저희 팀보다 좋은 팀이 없을 거라고 지금은 생각을 해가지고 자신감도 있는 상태입니다.
Well, obviously it feels super good, especially because to be able to end stage 2 with the trophy and on a really, really high note coming into Champions, I think we have a really good momentum going. I would say we have the best momentum going coming into Champions out of all teams here, so we're feeling really good.
Now, would you say, kind of on a similar note, would you say that because you have that trophy, because you have that momentum, with Champions being here on home soil in Korea, does that add more pressure for you? Or now, because you have gotten those trophies, you did get the win in Stage 2, does it feel like the pressure is a little bit more alleviated because you've been riding this high?
아니요, 사실 부담감은 킥오프 시작할 때가 제일 부담이 컸었던 것 같고, 근데 킥오프 우승하고 나서부터 이제 그때부터는 사실 부담감은 사라진 것 같아요. 사라지고 그냥 좀 즐기면서 하는 느낌이고, 그리고 이번에는 말한 대로 이제 홈그라운드니까 좀 더 부담되는 것보다도 저희 팬분들도 볼 수 있고 좀 뭔가 더 오히려 마음 편하고 더 즐겁게 할 수 있고 좀 더 설레는 것 같아요.
Well, kickoff was actually the most pressure we were under, but after that, it was just us trying to have more fun, and there wasn't much of pressure. with stage 1 and also Masters events and with stage 2. And you mentioned being on the home ground in front of the fans. I think it makes us even more excited, and to be able to have the fans here rooting for us and watching the game in person, I think it adds to the fun of it.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know, you've gotten a lot of fans this year. A lot of people, you know, knew you from last year when you were over on Global, but you've kind of taken the world by storm and become a household name in Valorant now with your run and your performances. And I kind of want to pick your brain because I'm sure there's a lot of people coming over to Korea to watch you, to watch Champions, and they might want your recommendations for some things. So I want to go with #1 place in Seoul that you think people should visit, and then your #1 food recommendation for everybody here.
꼭 가야 하는 장소? 내가 근데 제가 어딜 돌아다니질 않아가지고 한국 오면은 그 제주도? 그냥 좀 경치나 이런 거 사실 근데 저도 안 가봤어요. 그냥 보기만 했던 거라서 제가 꼭 가보고 싶은 곳이라서 이제 다른 분들도 갔으면 하는 거고, 먹었으면 하는 거는 딱 2개가 있는데 제육이랑 김치찌개. 딱 이 2개요.
Okay.
I would say Jeju Island, but I'm more of a hermit, so I don't really go out that much. Jeju Island, personally, I want to go. I've never been, but I hope that the fans get the chance to visit. As for food, I have 2. It's kimchi jjigae, which is like kimchi boiled soup, and also jeuk, his favorite dish, which is kind of fried pork.
All right. Well, I kind of knew that you were going to say jaeuk. So I'm glad you gave me something a little bit extra there with the kimchi jjigae. But Texture, thank you for joining me. Jen, thank you for the translations. That's going to do it for now. We'll see you guys next time.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. As a Latino, I love me some fried pork. So thank you so much for that, Texture.
If he wins the trophy, we're taking him to Jeju Island.
Okay.
I'm bundling him into a bag, and we're going to release him into Jeju Island. He's never been.
This is actually your secret to have Genji not win next year. You're going to give him like the Sentinels beach debuff.
But you know what, though? There was something that he said that was really interesting there, which was about, you know, the pressure that they had felt, right? And they felt more pressure at kickoff than they have now, which I think is quite fascinating because, you know, they were trying to get everything going, make the roster happen and connect.
Yeah.
And look, Texture, he's one of those dudes he's still fishing for that ace. So, hey, maybe this is going to be it. Maybe he gets to go to the island. Maybe he gets to get the ace. Maybe we get some fried pork.
It's been over 100 days since he's gotten an ace, and every time he gets a 4K, you see the reaction. But your question about pressure and why they're not feeling it on this stage, I think a big part of it is what you're seeing in that clip. They're just so comfortable on these big stages. Something goes wrong, something goes well. They're getting up, they're cackling, they're laughing. It's clear that the synergy in-game is ridiculous, but out of game, the players have that connection too and are just so comfortable together that no matter the stage, they're not feeling the pressure.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And there's a reason why Genji, coming into this tournament, everyone, is the odds-on heavy favorite. They are so good, so dominant, but of course, there's still so much more to come here. Now, earlier on, we spoke with Boo about their opening win against FPX in this Omen player moment. Let's check it out, and then we'll talk about some Heretics.
Hello, my name is Bo and I'm playing for Team Heretics. Yeah, so we just won against FPX, another overtime thriller. The first time in Shanghai, I felt we were more loose, and I don't know, I could absorb more information for some reason. In this game, I didn't see that clear of a picture what's happening, what needs to be done. Maybe it's a positive result of their work, maybe it's us going down maybe a little bit. I'm not sure, but it was harder.
Ayong was going to try and jump around, but he's thought better of it. That time continuing to tick, Koreans continuing to land every shot.
When we first saw the groups, I think first thing was excitement. I think the teams that we have in this group are like all fun to play, challenging to play, and winning against them means a lot, shows a lot, rather than maybe playing some, let's say, weaker teams. I prefer this. I think it's like only positive. I know we're not in the best form, but at the same time I see a lot of promises. With each day of scrims we got here, which was only like 3 days, we showed insane improvements. So like Team Heretics that landed in Seoul wouldn't win this. Team Heretics after 5-6 days won this, and Team Heretics after a week or two is gonna be way better.
As you can see in this series layout, Team Heretics had to fight tooth and nail for that win against FPX. And Sideshow, it's because FPX showed us some really wild stuff, and Heretics simply just, as you heard Boo say, wasn't really sure what the read was.
Yeah, Boo couldn't find the answer on bind at all against an FPX comp that was super unusual. But I like the way that he's framed it. They wouldn't have won if they'd arrived, and they're going to scale up as they go throughout the tournament. That's how it happened at Shanghai. They'd only had 1 day of practice with Woot playing Duelist and Paditech back in, and they got better as they went on.
The issue is that at Shanghai, they had all the time in the world to scale. Their entire matches were leading up to that final against Gen G, and now they have to make this rematch happen after only 1 match here. And I think Gen G, they're the only team this year who has not had a dip in form, that has managed to stay at their peak for an extended period of time. So that is rough. And while they did show some great tenacity to stay in that series, I think there were some worrying signs, being really slow to adapt on bind. I think they kind of overcomplicated things a little bit, or falling into a lot of these heavy contact plays, just walking into the chamber and dying, things like that. But there's still time, and there's still a lot to learn for this team.
Very true, but like you had all said, I mean, they're going into the blender against Gen G here. It's going to be a tough one. But the good news for Heretics fans is that one player actually popped off in the opening matchup, and I think a lot of people would kind of, look, we know that this kid is talented. Rians brings it every single time, but this was just something different. He was on another level here, and it truly just felt like if he could keep this form going, that's enough to build off of, I think.
If Rians is playing like this, you should be winning matches easily, which is a positive,
fair.
right? That he's playing that well, but it's also part of the worrying nature of it. Miniboo, I think in particular, needs to step up to the level that people like Rians are showing us on Team Heretics. But I think a lot of it is to do with what Boo was talking about that little like burnout portion. So many people on Heretics have talked about that. Benji talked about it in the press conference. They felt burned out towards the end of Stage 2. And it's about being able to maintain that form all the way throughout the year. That's why Gen G are so spectacular as an outlier, because they haven't had that dip in form all year long. But
no burnout.
That can't be the norm. Not like most teams just simply cannot sustain that.
Like, how do you even do that?
Like, Iron Mental and Giggle.
Yeah,
it's actually the laughing buff goes crazy.
Probably, man. Unbelievable stuff from Gen G. Of course, though, normally we do our arrival interviews. We have, each team. We like to talk to each one. But this time around, we decided to do it a little bit differently. And Yinsu caught up with both Benji Fishy and Texture. It's a pretty good one. Check it out.
I'm now joined by Texture from Gen G and Benji Fishy from Team Heretics ahead of what is probably going to be the most wholesome game we're going to see today and in the tournament. I understand that, Texture, you took the boys to Korean barbecue, right? How was it? Was it fun?
Yeah, of course fun. So good.
Did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was very tasty. Korean barbecue is my favorite food, when I tried it in London. So I got to try authentic Korean barbecue with Texture, guiding me. So yeah, it was very good.
You got to hang out with the boys as well, right?
Yeah.
And now, I know you guys are super good friends outside the server, but I wanted to get you to maybe do a little bit of a friendly trash talk ahead of your game. So, you got anything, Texture?
Yo, do you remember grand final in Shanghai?
It was meant to be friendly, bro. What? Oh, I was gonna say, na pegopa. I'm gonna eat you, bro.
All right, I can't wait to see you on the server. Thank you, boys.
Now pegopa means I'm hungry, so you eat you.
All right, good luck, guys.
Okay, Benji.
Who's eating who? I'm confused now.
Benji's going to guzzle down Texture.
No!
Oh, I thought we were going to eat Wingman, John.
No.
You gotta stop. Enough's enough. Okay, poor thing. We have to put headphones on him.
Now,
He's a part of the team. What do you think, Wingman? Doesn't want to be eaten. All right, well, let's go ahead and check out our MasterCard fan poll. Earlier, we asked you lovely people which of today's matchups is going to be the most certified of certified bangers, and the results are in. Gen G versus Heretics. I gotta say, I would have picked DRX versus Fnatic because there's so much history there, Mimi.
There is, but there's more name value, and I think that the hype of the rematch of the Shanghai finals will definitely bring that energy. My worry, though, is this could be a one-sided game. I think Gen G's form right now is looking really incredible, and they should be a heavy favorite in this match.
I think, though, that in both matches, because the bans are fairly well known, you should be able to pick a map where you're favored on for both teams across both matches. So in theory, we should have some 2-1 Valorant today that should be really close, very exciting. But if anyone takes their opponent's map pick, it might just be over.
Well, I think I know where Mimi's aligning here. Oh, that's Wingman.
He loves Gen.G. That's why he's yellow too.
Big Gen.G fan Wingman is. That makes a lot of sense. You know, maybe a little bias here in Seoul. But you know what, though? It's going to be an excellent series of matchups. I mean, you guys have Gen.G going through, right? I mean, predictions,
yes. Yeah, I think so.
But if Team Heretics could win this, this is the proof in the pudding that they are ready to actually be a contender to lift a trophy here and to show their growth.
You are so right. Now we got 2 certified bangers on the way. Let's get this show started. Day 5 of Champion Seoul starts right now.
Last year, Buzz and I were in the crowd watching the grand finals of League of Legends. And I remember saying to each other, like, hey, next year, if it's in Korea, let's go meet each other, let's play on that stage against each other. And here we are.
또 너무 좋은 친구이고 또 배울 점이 많은 선수인 것 같아요. 게임 안에서 만났을 때는 이제 엄청나게 큰 적이기 때문에.
So, Istanbul, who knocked us out? DRX. On your home turf. I know Alfia is super hungry. He wants to fight them on their home turf and he wants to send them to the lower bracket.
푸나틱에게 졌던 그 기억이 아직도 새록하게 남아있는데 그거를 되갚아주고 싶어요.
We gotta stay humble kings, no egos here, and just prep.
No ego in the practice, ego on the outside.
That's what we like to see.
화이팅 하겠습니다. 화이팅!
Gen.G not slowing down from prior performances.
Gen.G, currently best team in the world, no doubt. We played them only once, which was the final of Shanghai.
Vindicated! Gen.G stand on top of the world!
The loss felt really bad and sad, but when you distance yourself, it's second place in Masters League. You're not allowed to be sad about that.
Heretics, man, have we seen this team grow?
저는 마무리가 항상 너무 중요한 사람이기 때문에 앞에 있는 성적보다도 당연히 뭐 상하이 우승을 하든 무조건 챔피언스를 가야 된다라는 생각으로 임했습니다.
You absolute animal!
My brother Domi, he said like I want to play them so much because they're obviously the best. If you want to beat the best, you need to beat the best. And there is no better team than Gen.G to prove that.
자신 있으면은 계속 들어오세요. 어차피 저는 뺄 생각도 없으니까 한번 붙죠.
Team Heretics. Gen.G.
It's the run back of the Shanghai Masters final. Gen.G taking on Team Heretics. And even though there is respect across that stage for both of the squads, when you're in that server, you got to put all that aside. It's all about picking up the win and locking up that first seed. And look at this series layout here. Abyss, Lotus, and Bind if necessary, Sideshow.
This is going to be our first ever time seeing Gen.G playing on Abyss.
Oh, that's right.
No idea what they're doing. They were perma-banning it over in Pacific, came into this tournament and have left it open as a trap for other teams to fall into. But to be honest, as soon as Gen.G get rid of Sunset, there is no better map for Heretics to try to go towards. So they need the win on Abyss to open up the series and then try to scrap something out maybe on Bind.
Yeah, both these teams' bans are taking away their opponents' basically best map in Sunset and Ascent, respectively. The big question for me around this veto is how is Miniboo going to play? We saw them move away from the Neon comp they were playing in EMEA, in Lotus, and also debut him on Jet on Abyss, an agent that he basically never plays, and it was an underperformance on both of those maps. He needs to step up today against the guy who right now is probably the #1 runner for best player on that agent.
And it's not even necessarily Miniboo versus Texture, but when Miniboo entries, he's going to be playing against site anchors like Karen and Meteor.
Yeah,
those are the players he's going to be going toe-to-toe with. You've got to be able to get those guys down to have a chance in these rounds.
Yeah, when you see that he wasn't getting a lot of value off of that Jet, makes you wonder, like, do they go and make that change here? Do they try and just say, hey, screw it, it didn't work out before, let's go back to what brought us to the dance in the first place?
But at the same time, the actual big mystery is what the heck Gen.G are even going to be running on Abyss. Is it going to be a good map for them?
Good call.
They had Breeze and Split removed from the map pool. Their two best maps. They still have the best map pool in the world. How is this team real? It's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, I think that we can expect at least one thing. Texture is almost certainly going to be playing the Jet here. We've seen a very heavy focus on Jet Ops and the value they can provide on defensive side from a lot of teams on this map. But we've seen a lot of looks, especially around what controller you're playing. In Americas, we've seen looks with Harbor. We've seen a lot of looks with Astra. So the big question here to be answered, and Gen.G goes for one of those Astra comps with the Yoru in the mix.
They're just running their Breeze comp here and applying it to Abyss. So you're going to see same like teleports into the smokes.
Yeah.
Defensive side is super strong with the pulls and with the Viper. Is it going to work one-to-one? I'm not sure. You kind of have to scale into the sites a little more on this map compared to Breeze, but it could be quite similar to their Breeze B exec.
Sure, but they were the best team in the world on that map when they were playing Breeze with this exact same composition. The combination on the entry between Meteor TPing into Charon smokes and the flashes combined with Lakia's darts is really oppressive. And on top of that, I haven't seen a team play this comp. So Team Heretics, unlikely to be prepared for this 1-for-1.
Yeah, that actually is a really good call there, right? You can see all the zeros across the board. I mean, truly, the map is living up to its name because Team Heretics are going into the Abyss here against Gen.G. Let's get into map one, shall we? Send it over to your casters. Two guys that get paid to talk good words about me. It's Mitch and
Thank you so much, GB. Yes, it's time to kick this one off. A rematch of a grand final where Heretics went 2-1 up, but lost the series. This time, they just need to do the same. 2-1, that's all they need.
Is that the way you're trying to sell this? No wonder people call you EMEA bias. That's a little bit bad. I think it's going to have to be a step up from them. Because, yeah, the last time out, it was a close affair. Different personnel on the server now, but also different form. Gen.G have looked truly unstoppable no matter who they seem to come up against. And on the other side of things, Heretics have faltered a little bit. They've slipped from that sort of dominant force that they were within the stage 2 of EMEA. Either way, fully expecting an exciting series. But I think the first two matches we've seen from these teams are fairly telling at where they are right now.
Setting expectations for Gen.G. Lotus, they absolutely dominated Heretics there in the grand final with Shanghai. Somewhere that they're going to feel comfortable going to. And as Sideshow said, this is just the Breeze comp brought through. So although it's a different map, comfort level on that comp should be the same. Karen sitting around mid, very late in the game. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Texture to at least drop his one. Spams are good, and Heretics find the kill. Now that laneway, all that stands between the defuse and the round victory. Munchkin, though, manages to drop Woot, and they've already destroyed the wingman.
Yeah, post-plant lineups already coming in, making it incredibly difficult for anybody to get near that spike. We see Heretics do this exact same sort of post, just sitting back, holding, sending utility on towards that spike, and then just pre-firing this angle. Even still, though, they have managed to get it to half, but they need a little bit more, and that time is ticking too far gone. The post-plant, again, on the B site works out. And Gen.G are going to kick things off with a pistol.
Absolutely beautiful play from Gen.G. Even with Texture not finding his ones up close, that utility that they have to fall back on is absolutely insane. And we've seen teams falter to exactly like you said, Tom. That setup from Heretics, they're on their way back in. It's a laneway plant. There's only one way that you can peek it. They put down a grab well to try to deal with these players and buy the time to get the defuse. And I think it was a counter grab well that ended up stopping the defuse going half. That was the difference between the round going to Heretics and Gen.G getting off to a flying start. 1-0 facing into an eco.
Yeah, a very heavy investment here from Gen.G. They've gone for rifles and every single player. You can't really afford to lose any players here, otherwise it's going to be some severe cost. But sticking with the Guardians, maybe, I don't know, we saw some pretty impressive battles between Ion and Riens when we saw this map played versus FPX. So maybe they're trying to steal a leaf out of the book of the Guardian. Plenty of positions that can be wallbanged. Again, if you talk about that post plant on the B site, we saw Boo attempting to try and do the same with an Odin. For now, though, for Heretics, it's exactly what you expect. Your Sentinel alone on the B site, just trying to get information, and then a 4-man stack on A.
even though they've got the numbers. Hard to convert the kills up against the rifles in play for Gen G, even if they do go running into them. For now, though, a couple of shots fired. It's Boost spamming through and almost going down. He's on 15 HP. It's all a ruse from Gen G. They make early noise. They keep the stack on A, and now the rotation comes in. The pressure onto a man like Benji Fishy, who has a classic and 2 traps to play off of. It's going to be very difficult to find the value. His camera's already been taken back.
30 seconds left.
I like the trap we're seeing here up top, trying to cancel out any updraft dashes. But it's just a conventional push from Gen G, and they know exactly where Benji is. Nice and clean.
Nobody else really on spot. And some aim practice early on for Texture. It's going to be another 4K. Add another to the collection. It's been spoken about quite a bit, how many days it's been since Texture got an ace. I think it was only probably mere rounds since the last time he got a 4K, but another one on the books, and more importantly, he's now 2 away from a Blade Storm.
Yeah, I think it's been like 14 4Ks so far, give or take. It was 114 days. Can't quite get that ace, but hey, you wouldn't want to do it against an eco anyways, right? We want that to be a meaningful ace. If he's going to do it, maybe it's here. They've still got a lot to work with on Gen G. 4 Guardians and a Bulldog coming into round 3. Team Heretics invest heavily. All the credits are on the line, and a loss here means a big extension by Gen G and a big lead early on for the attackers. Same approach, players spread on B and mid, while the other 3 look for some control over A main. Happy to take a fight if they're offered it. Happy to take the orb if they're not.
Yeah, I think someone to highlight within this match as well is going to be Miniboo. We've talked about his individual performance. This map, he definitely struggled. 9 and 20, even falling down the gap in mid for one of those deaths. And sure, he came into the series late, again, like leading the way through at the end, but it's definitely dangerous territory if he's not going to have those performances, because well, one of the more exciting things is we do have Meteor back on that duelist with Breeze removed. It wasn't something that he's been playing too recent, but we know he's incredible at it.
We see the orbs all farmed up on Meteor. How important it is for him to have his ult for entering in. Trap, it's caught. Texture, will he make it back? Just about. He's safe for now. Boo, not so much though. Dropped after just the 1. The spike dropped. They know it's on its way to B, and there's reinforcements coming through. Miniboo's there to back them up, but they can't quite stop that plan.
They're going to know exactly where Meteor is. Nowhere else really been to stand. Karen's position has already been spotted, and a lot of low players now for the side of Gen G. Bonus not exactly going to plan, and well, it seems like it's only going to get a little bit worse as we will see Texture fall off the edge of the map. And well, we definitely need the replay from Benji. He even did a little dance, a little emote at the end.
Yeah, early on, you're seeing the falling deaths. I don't know if that's off the initial trap. Maybe it pulled him back in. I think he put an updraft into play, and sometimes it can act a little bit like a slingshot.
Well, I think he dashed backwards.
He did at first, and then I think an updraft. Oh, there he goes.
30 seconds left.
Oh, yeah, he was falling for quite a long time. This had been happening for a while, evidently, but he's having a good time at least. And of course, the last round flawless financially. Gen G are going to be able to go back into this round with another purchase. In fact, they're in a great spot overall, even having themselves a dimensional drift onto Meteor, which we already seen from Life can really cause mass amount of issues on this map. I think a lot of teams still are not completely comfortable on Abyss just yet. It's still by far the newest map in the pool, and I'm waiting to see, well, if Heretics have got something planned. This aggressive push might be just that.
Yeah, the cam has flipped around to mid this time, not looking for the same control deep on B, leaving no one there to watch the push up, hoping the cam will do the job. But it's Meteor's ultimate, and they farmed it up. I expect them to use it in a round like this. Credits on the line, and for Heretics, a little bit of a moneymaker in the last. There goes the ult, immediate TP, so he's nice and close, ready to take this. Already spotting the first. There's a lot of info now. They know there's 3 players here. The decoy is going to be used, sending them back alongside the recon. This is site control and a plant for Gen G.
Yeah, this is all they want. Gets them into that post plant again. At least it will do. Slightly moved the plant, but it's still going to be a difficult place to fight from, especially with Meteor up close. That's going to get cleared out by the drone. That's something at least, and actually, he gets dropped. Trying to maneuver himself back out of position. Utility being thrown in for Heretics, but they've still got 4 to find.
Okay, Texture already spotted, but he's going home! 3 already! Karen takes away the ace possibility, and again, he'll be denied the 5th. But Gen G win the round, and I guess that's all that matters. Spirits are definitely high on that roster.
Dear Lord, he's got 4 kills in 2 rounds. That's all his kills on the board at the moment. 8 and 2. It's funny, last round he falls off the map, having a little bit of a laugh, and now he's the one laughing at absolutely everybody else. Just so clean with it. And I don't even think there's arguments at the moment for who is the best player in the world. This guy is just tearing everybody apart.
Against a team like Heretics as well. So many individuals we write home about. We've seen them perform on the international stage, make deep runs into the tournament, but
that's the story, isn't it? The story is literally they're going through the teams that they have to play at in the finals of international events. That's what Gen G are doing. The latest, of course, was Heretics over in Shanghai, which they won, but I don't know. The way they're playing at the moment, it's already looking a little bit scary.
Seems almost undeniable. One of the best teams in the world, we know, but it could be the Texture. Good for 1, and the dash keeps him on the map. He's not falling this time, and it's Miniboo who loses his life early on, trading out the death of Meteor. And look at the shift from Gen G. They know the rotates have come in, and sure, the drone is going to see that no one has actually pushed through that gap, and the Texture's fallen back, but it's all about the position of Boo. He's able to catch Karen, confirming the rotation they suspected, and now slowing them down. The Stars put to cover his retreat, and he's right back to middle. No need to take that fight. With 40 seconds on the clock, the pressure's on for Gen G to find an opening.
Yeah, his only goal was to buy time. The rest of the team fully rotating, but it seems like Gen G might just go back. And while Benji, I think he's made that realization.
30 seconds left.
Even still, though, Munchkin could just make a little bit of noise, try and attempt to bait them, and actually, without spotting anything out, he's continued this push. His teammate's starting to come back, but the cam is going to give the game away. And now you're going to see Woot get back into position. Even still, a potential for a 1 versus 1, but with the time so desperately low, there was a moment for Boo. But they are going to be making their way on. A nice kill for Woot at least. 7 seconds, and there's the spam. That's a spike down. Round already over. Arians will add the final nail in the coffin. It's a 2nd on the board for Heretics. And what a big round from Boo.
Great push and pull, and yeah, it's just the fact that they get Boo into that position. Gen G have played slow. They've pressured A. They've made noise in a number of rounds, but they've always left Karen behind and often Munchkin to watch middle. But Karen wasn't sitting outside B this time. Any other round, Boo would have had an early fight on his hands, a scrap. But instead, Snake in the grass confirms the rotation and locks in the round as a result. That's 3-2 now. The gap not going to be extended by Gen G, but they're still able to buy up. Still have that Hunter's Fury to work with after last round. And a slower approach, this time more focused on that B site. They want to catch Boo pushed up, but he's not giving them the fight.
I think a lot of this is going to come down to timing.
Big
utility being expended into that A site. The Viper screen put there, but it is all a ruse. I think maybe the TP will have been heard. I think Boo was close enough, has that information, but caught sleeping at the wheel. Now it's on to Woot to try and defend this. The flash was good, but the counter flash was even better.
He's just stuck in the corner. He can't even retreat for free, knowing there could be someone peeking from the box. He's trying to force the fight. Catch at least one as they fall back from these plant positions, but there's nothing to be found. Rooting himself around the edge, and there it is. The element of surprise against Texture. Nice ranged fight with Karen down. That's some of the utility at least removed, and an early snake bite will buy them a little bit of time. The thrash on its way, and it's caught Meteor. Only one man can defend him. Lackey is firing out the shock darts, delaying the defuse at least for a moment. Hunter's Fury now comes in to do the same. Fired off once, gets its mark. Second shot's good. Third will be a kill, but it's already half. They've got the kills from Meteor, though. He got 2 in the space of a second, and that's Gen G locking in another round.
Yeah, I was thinking with the post-plant utility that was available for Heretics, like, Woot did fantastically well, like being able to put the Molotov just to force a player into an angle, then uses the thrash as well to basically just keep someone in position. And it's just the late round utility from Lakia. His post-plant has been disgusting. That bought enough time, and wow, this is why we always want to see Meteor back on that duelist. If he was on any other team, that's probably where he would be. The other guy's Texture, though.
Meteor does enough, even in the first kill, without the insane spray correction. Like, you've probably won it off of time alone, a 1v1 where they can't push Lakia and take him down. But considering the fact that Thrash goes out, there's 3 players alive. The first one that it would have hit was caught in a mosh pit and got dropped in time. It allowed the Thrash to instead go on to Meteor. At that point, Lakia is in a 1v4 for the next couple seconds. It doesn't look like he can stop it, but he'd already fired out that shock dart, beautifully timed. Diffuser happens to be low. Then Hunter's Fury that we mentioned earlier, used for the post plant, catches not just the wingman, but the man who put out the wingman in Woot. For Meteor to hit those shots as well, another nail in the coffin. 4-2, and the problem with that, after a couple of losses in the previous round, Heretics, some of these players are going to be struggling for money.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not looking like a great position to fight from on this defensive side. Obviously, they had an incredibly close victory versus FPX, but that was always the gamble. Like, I think the way that the veto went was somewhat expected in terms of the bans. Sunset has been by far the best map of Team Heretics. You can understand why they would want to go there, so it being removed by Gen G makes sense. And then for Heretics, okay, they haven't played Abyss. Maybe they're not ready to go in that direction, so they've gone for that pick instead.
A hero operator on Miniboo. Everyone else with the pistols. If you're going to have a chance, this is one way to try to seize it back. Well, he's forced out of position right away. The spams back to Lakia, light him up. And the shift from Gen G to the other side of the map. The question here, it's not even about the numbers on Heretics and where they go. It's about where does Miniboo go? Does he suspect this rotation? I already see him in middle. If he makes it to A in time, maybe they can grab a pick, but it looks like the stack will stick on B.
Yeah, the gamble is that maybe he can save the op, maybe he can win them the round with it, and even if not, he has the Blade Storm for the next round. The bigger problem, though, is that Boo's going to be under serious pressure, and he has nothing to play with. He expects the TP and actually wins that initial fight. Done incredibly well to read the gap of where his opponent's going to be, and now pushing into this. Actually has risks about it. It gives 1v1s at close range. A singular headshot is enough, and Boo's given them a real chance in this round.
He gets the smoke up too. They win the fight through the wall. Munchkin and Lakia, the last 2 alive, and a late flank from Munchkin might just pay dividends. The reveal goes up and he's already spotted one, but Miniboo, Spidey senses were tingling. He could feel those eyes on him. Turns to take the kill, and with that, Heretics win out the round. And it's nothing to do with the op, really. Sure for the last kill, but Boo finding that little gap to play inside of, and the fact that they pressure him. I also thought it was funny. He killed Meteor, and then he shot the decoy later in case they had a second Yoru.
Well, the thing is as well, this is now a couple of times that we've seen Meteor TP into this backside. I think one was the round where Riens gets the opener. This time they even put the Cosmic Divide into position to allow him an angle, but it's just something that clearly Heretics are very aware of, especially Boo. Just knows exactly what that's going to be. And then it creates an awkward fight for Texture. As said, you're running through a corner of a Cosmic Divide, even versus a low player. That can cause problems. Fantastic read from the IGL, but it does feel like a bit of an oversight from Gen G to keep giving these early fights in low buy rounds.
I think they just assumed after making noise on the other side of the map, that would be the gap that was available for them. The blind stopped Boo from being able to deliver the op shot into what could have been a collateral. Gen G, second lease of life on this. Another orb taken. Meteor just one away from the dimensional drift. And they have a Viper's Pit to work with. And a low buy round like this, that could be invaluable. But I see Munchkin's role in this round won't be to get on site and plant it. Instead, he's the one sitting back, trying to catch that late lurk, and had a lot of success with it last round, although he didn't get the kills. He got into position.
This is the thing. Finances, not great. Really good opportunity for Heretics to equalize this one. The site, however,
could see Pit.
It's going to be taken. Yeah, it's whether or not they want to invest it with, maybe if they had a couple of SMGs. The pistols aren't bad, but they are going to risk it. They're going to gamble, and already, well, they're going to have to fight from a disadvantage. An interesting Pit, one that takes an awful lot of control. If you're going to push through it, you need so much, but they're going to have to spam onto the players attempting to tap that spike.
Yeah, the problem is they can't even see when it's being stuck. You got to get that little bit closer. It's going to be a risk. But for Team Heretics, trying to negotiate their way back into the pit is a problem. Up close, no utility to try to drop that diffuser. It's all down to spams, and right under their nose, it's coming across the line. Already, the round is sealed. Texture, a formality as he falls. And 4-4 we go. A nice attempt on a low buy round from Gen G, but it doesn't work out this time.
No, I think, again, either it was that they wanted to try and just leave a very narrow angle that you knew the player would defuse on just outside, or they were maybe hoping it just went a tiny bit deeper. That's the only other option. I don't mind the idea, because a lot of the time you're going to have to force people to try and run through the entirety of that pit. Nonetheless, a single ultimate expended, not a whole lot of damage. And that operator's now going to go back into the hands of Miniboo. He's looking for an early fight towards this side of the map. And well, unfortunately, he's going to be met with Meteor.
Well, actually, Meteor seems to be going towards the back of the site for now, just taking the control, the dash in from Texture to meet him. They've got boots on the ground, and Team Heretics decide not to compete with this one. The decoy sent through, just ignored. Genji, oh, they have Texture going up close. Out for a second, he's going into that right corner, but the smoke's fading. He'll tuck away and play this post plant with the squad.
Immediate flash. Drone to follow. They're going to know where Texture is, but the rest of the team is still elusive for the rest. And even still getting past this double duelist could be tough. Texture combining Meteor with another. And although they've lost Munchkin, I don't think it's going to matter. Lakia doesn't quite connect. Benji's been given a small opportunity, but again, Texture is there, leaving it to just Boo, and he won't last long whatsoever. Genji extend their lead once again, and once more, this double duelist is as fearsome as ever.
I love the setup. Yeah, it's the fact that you've got Texture taking the initial fight, tanking the drone at the start, and then he's swinging back, spraying them while Meteor jumps up top. And then later in the round, you have a little bait onto Woot. He's looking one way, ready to take Meteor down, and he gets swung from behind. Absolutely gorgeous from Genji. 5 rounds on the board now. And a chance to push it further. If they win this one, again, credits are going to be struggling on that defensive side. Big opportunity for the attackers.
Of course, a lot of the success came from Heretics with their post plants on that attack. Even though things went to OT, they really were disgustingly strong when it came to the B side. As we've seen from the other side, a much faster paced move here. It's going to be Benji completely caught off guard. Meteor's already managed to get that opener. Rians is still trying to just hold on to some ground, but the A site almost completely lost.
Yeah, Rians doesn't want to overcommit to this. He's heard a player come back up towards the top. They're ready for him, but another smoke goes down. The spam's favoring Meteor. He's lit Woot to a fraction of his HP, down to 10. Texture falls. They're conscious that Meteor could be coming on the flank. Woot looks away just as he rounds the corner. That's going to be a late flank potential. But look how far behind someone like Boo is. If they lose these players in the spawn, it could be over. Although Miniboo's quick to correct. Keep it into a 3v3. Late flank by Boo, spotted. Known he has to win this fight to give them a chance to be able to pressure these players, but it's Lakia to come ahead. Miniboo already on his third, hunting down the ace. It's been evading the jet on the other side, and he won't find it this time. Hunter's Fury burned up at the end, but it's for a round win, 6-4, and Team Heretics now in the dirt when it comes to credits.
Yeah, it was just to make sure that even though Miniboo was fighting, they got rid of the wingman. The defuse couldn't come through under their nose, and, well, 6-4, a 2-round lead. I've been liking this sort of pace change, right, with the fact that just immediately taking down Benji, like caught from behind, wasn't aware of how far they managed to get up mid. And from then onwards, again, it seems like once they get the sites and get into the post plant, it's been incredibly difficult for Heretics to get back into these rounds. Texture. Bladestorm active, and on the other side, again, some severe weaknesses.
I bet Miniboo got a little scared there.
I think we all
grabbed
did.
onto that rope. Yeah, I was worried.
Small clench.
You know, they almost had last round, right? Heretics burned up the Bladestorm alongside the operator just to try to make that retake happen. So now there's a big disadvantage in those fights, and you see it manifested. Karen, though, able to find Miniboo, but it's traded out with Texture. Woot up close, playing through the smokes. He hears them falling back and has to make a decision on whether he hunts them down. It's a risk. It might just be worth taking this time. Catching them in the orb, but Meteor pulls out the gun just in time. Steps are heard by Boo. He's only got a Sheriff. He might be able to find some value as they cross.
Yeah, he's been in this position before, though. It seems like they're still unaware of it, and he's actually done a lot of damage onto Munchkin as well. Even still, though, Meteor's just farming. Rian's left. We've seen him pull off crazy rounds with the Guardian. This wouldn't even have to be the best of them. First kill's easy. But the other two players are going right over to the other side of the map, and he's still going to be wary, because Karen likes to be left behind, likes to be left to lurk. And for now, that's exactly what he's doing.
I love that from Meteor. they don't know where the last guy is, so they send out the gate crash towards the A site. He goes to link up with his teammates. Someone dies on B. All right, give me the spike. I'll go plant. And now you get that late round potential for Karen. Reveal goes out, so Karen knows he's not lurking on the right angle, but Meteor cleaning it up. 4 kills in this round, catching Rien's off guard to close it. And now 7-4. The lead guaranteed at the half. The question is, by how much?
Yeah, this was always the reason, or one of the reasons why their composition on Breeze was so deadly. It was the fact that just Texture and Meteor as a duo on Duelist has to be the best of the best. Like, it really does seem just impossible at times, and with his constant repositioning again, it's now going to be Meteor adding another 4K to the tally. 7-4 up. The map choice of Heretics. I think many, including myself, believe that Lotus is going to be a tough ask for Heretics to turn the series. And getting a 5th, maybe even a pistol.
Who's next?
It's going to be paramount.
Same TP we've seen before from Meteor. Uses the ult, gets up close. Last time, Heretics gave the site up completely. This time, that's not really an option with Boo so close, and the decoy distracts him just long enough. One more bullet could have done the job, and down she goes. Okay, Benji, able to eliminate Texture, keeps the numbers competitive, but Meteor's got a flash play, even on low health. He's not falling back, he won't be deterred, but the Hunter's Fury makes it more interesting.
3 still standing, but once more it's those post plants. Munchkin's even, well, we've seen this one before, sat there with an Odin in the backlines, just waiting to spam onto the spike. They've still got the snake bite available as well, and they can try and pull players away. Now they've cleared all of the close positions. Miniboo maybe having that realization, but there goes up the orb, and now it's left all onto Munchkin, just trying his best to buy as much time as possible. It has already been half though, which could be a problem. Miniboo needs this kill, and while anything else isn't going to stop it. Heretics at least have managed to get themselves that 5th round, but even still, it's a solid half for Gen G.
Absolutely. Yeah, this attack side's really heated up, especially towards the end. Got their streak of rounds, and they've been looking competitive. Now we move to the defensive side, and a different challenge for them. But if players like Meteor and Texture can keep it up, this double duelist look incredibly strong here.
Either way, we're going to be off to the interview with some of Benji's family.
Benji, fishy, do-do-do-do-do. I know, a little bit cringe, but a good segue for a halftime interview as I'm standing here with Mama Fishy and also Brother Fishy, aka Charles Fishy. So, hello everyone.
You alright? How's it going?
먼저 벤지 PC의 가족이죠. 엄마 PC와 형 PC 만나보도록 하겠습니다. 먼저 형 PC, 서울 생활은 좀 어떠신가요? So, how's Korea been so far for you?
It's been unbelievable. It's so hot though. I don't know how you can deal with it. Oh my god, I step outside and I'm just drenched in sweat. It's embarrassing.
날씨가 너무 더운데 너무 좋긴 좋은데 날씨가 너무 더워가지고 이제 그냥 밖에 나가기만 하면은 땀이 뻘뻘 나가지고 어떻게 한국 사람들이 날씨를 견디는지 모르겠다고 얘기를 했습니다. 그럼 엄마 PC, 벤지 PC 선수가 항상 경기를 할 때 보면은 막 에너지 넘치고 막 진짜 소리도 너무 많이 지르거든요. 평소에 집에서도 좀 이렇게 시끄러운 아이였을까요? Now, Benji Fishy though, we see him energetic and all fired up round after round. Was he always loud loud like this at home?
Very much so, yes. At night time, he would wake me up in the middle of the night. I was always shouting at Tim for being quieter. So yeah, always that loud.
맨날 이렇게 에너지가 넘쳐가지고 어렸을 때는 이제 엄마 PC가 자고 있는데 그냥 갑자기 밤에 막 시끄럽게 굴어가지고 빨리 다시 자 약간 이렇게 얘기를 했기 때문에 좀 혼내는 일도 많았다고 얘기를 하는데요. 그러면 형 PC, 벤지 PC가 오늘 복수를 좀 다짐하고 있는 것 같나요? Now, bro Fishy, is Benji out there for revenge today?
Definitely, yeah. He doesn't like to lose at all. So yeah, he's going to be coming for him.
역시 승부욕이 넘치는 선수이기 때문에 확실히 복수를 꿈꾸고 있다고 얘기를 했습니다. 이렇게 해서 벤지 PC 가족들 만나봤고요. 이어지는 경기 함께 즐겨보시죠. Right, thank you guys and back to Abyss.
Well, you heard it there. Benji Fishy's out for revenge. Thank you very much to Mama and Brother Benji for stepping out there to get this done. Now, look, they're definitely supporting Heretics, as I'm sure a lot of people here are. But
I'd be worried if they weren't.
I think the Gen G fans might be in the house. You could hear the roars in the rounds they were winning. 7 already on the board, and this pistol could extend that lead.
I will say the rounds they were winning were maybe a little bit more exciting, though. Just the explosive 4Ks we've seen from this squad, be it Meteor or Texture, and I don't know if they're going to be stopping anytime soon. Speaking of that, just look at Miniboo, straight sprinting in towards the B side. Seems like both teams have a similar idea, but already it's going to be the, well, almost flood back in immediately. They don't even look like a retake. They're so fast to get back into the site.
Munchkin swinging, but nobody can get ahead of Meteor. He's hunted down
another one.
A 4K, which seems to be Gen G's speciality. An 8th round now locked in relatively flawless fashion. And that is a strong start to the second half in a map that we need to see Heretics win if you're a fan of Bind. Because Lotus, let's just say Gen G are pretty good there. And they certainly were last time these two teams faced.
It's so easy to forget when a team has someone like Texture how good Meteor is at the duelist role. Like, this guy just pop flashes back into the site and 4 players are dead within a matter of seconds. Like, they really are just diffing the side of Heretics at the moment. And well, another pistol under their belt. For the side of Heretics, you can't really have much in terms of a reinvestment, a pistol or 2, maybe an extra bit of utility here and there that could be expended into this round. Other than that, just another chance to farm up some extra orbs. And with Meteor already 2 away, I kind of want to see him go hunting here.
We may well see that. There's already a gate crash put out towards the B site for a quicker rotation. I think that's going to be a big factor in how those, certainly the early gate crashes are used from Meteor. They haven't fought for A main. It is being spotted by Karen and no one around the area. As we can see, if they did push up and take that space, it would be in a bit of trouble. A late clear by Heretics on their way back towards this angle. And Karen, well, he doesn't want anything to do with it. Good thing as well, the Gecko flash was just seconds away.
Definitely being patient. But the expectation here is that you're not going to see too much aggression from the side of Gen G in a round like this. You have such a huge weaponry advantage. Again, it's only really Texture that hasn't invested into a rifle. They've been going very heavy in these second rounds, making sure the conversion is there. And, well, with 35 seconds left on the clock, this might just be a shooting gallery for Munchkin. He's waiting, doesn't have a lot of support. This might mean that they can either get a trade or get themselves in for that after plant. He's going to try his best to slow them down.
The snakebite does keep them in position for at least a moment, and that's long enough for Lakia to strike. One more shot down below to Woot. We'll deal with him, and it's just Boo. Nice and easy for the side of Gen G. 3 rifles carried forward. The Guardians will be in full effect, and a 9-5 lead at this point. Heretics really need to start putting rounds on the board, or this one's going to become a pretty bleak outlook on the series.
Yeah, they at least managed to get rid of 1 rifle, but as you can see, like, I think it's probably just going to be Lakia. Yeah, Lakia will play with a pistol, so with how good the duelists have been, it might not even matter too much. And already, it seems to be crunch time for the side of Heretics. As it was said on the desk, I think losing your own map choice in this series is seeming like a bit of a death sentence, and with them being 4 rounds down already, it's seeming a bit more problematic. Meteor as well, with how he's been playing, you can understand why he's feeling confident. Drones going up on the other side, and Munchkin again is already going to do serious damage on the entry to the site.
Oh, Meteor's being caught. I think he might have gate crashed in, but he certainly didn't gate crash out. Mosh Pit takes him down. They know Munchkin was up top as well. Decent bit of information to work with, and it's the fight onto Miniboo that Heretics come out ahead with. Now a 4 versus 3. And one of those players left alive has the weaknesses. Crash put through, no conversion on it, but Karen goes down. It was the aggression up top that got yet another advantage. Almost slipped away with Benji Fishy, and it does in the end. But with Lakia down, a 1 versus 3 for Texture. A big round from this man. We've seen plenty of them. 8 bullets left and no HP. 9-6. Heretics are back on the board.
Yeah, an important round for them to take. I was definitely a little bit worried with how things have started off, and I think what we've seen from Munchkin so far on this B defense is that a lot of the time he's going to be able to get them the opener. Just with pre-fires, he's very ready for any sort of B aggression with counter utility to slow them down, but it's the aggressive pace from Minibu. Like catching a couple of players off guard, solid utility from Wu, and I think this is so important. As said, last time he played this map, he was 9-20. He's already beaten that and up the top of the board for the team. If Minibu can build into the tournament, as Heretics have sort of talked about as a roster, as his brother talked about in the interview earlier, that could be the team that, well, went on the run to the final, even if he wasn't there for it.
Similar setup to what Gen G were going for on the attack side. One player lurking B, one lurking on mid, but Boo overextends slightly, gets his head ripped clean off. A valuable opening duel for Gen G. They don't have to get out of position to do it. There's no risks that can be punished, and the spam from Meteor is absolutely perfect, deleting Minibu on the right angle, and now the split here from Benji. 2 players through main, fighting Meteor and still not able to drop him before he draws blood. Benji's the last man standing, 1 against 3. Spike dropped in the open, and at this point they know where he is from the door breaking.
He needs to isolate one. He'll get the first chance and actually manages to win that. Uncharacteristic from Texture. And now has the information of where both of these players are. Karen just waiting. Watching towards the spawn, but the time now gives the game away. It's not clean, but still Benji's getting the job done. Another kill under his belt. 25 seconds to play with, so doesn't need to go for the plant just yet. And you can see Munchkin slowly making his move. The cam is actually going to give it away. He now knows exactly where his opponent is. May be able to try and retrieve that spike, but is almost trying to bait in his opponent for the fight. Try and get him to peek this one, sticking it all the way, but that snake bite is going to slow him a little bit more. Munchkin, a safe pair of hands. It got sketchy, it got dangerous. But even still, Gen G come out with a round.
Really well played by Munchkin. You could see as the time started to tick away, he knew what he was facing. He knew the initial plant, the snake bite, denies it, and then you know he's going to try to fake it, but the timing absolutely perfect. Benji, though, he really did a good job in this 1 versus 3, especially, like you said, a rare whiff from Texture, and you really got to capitalize on those, and he very nearly did. But a 4-round lead still for Gen G, and the economy a little sloppy for Heretics. They're going to go in for a mixed buy, a couple of rifles, so some potential still. But Gen G certainly seem to have a commanding lead over this series, over this map at least so far.
Yeah, the scary thing as well is they are getting ever closer to just having every single ultimate online. Like they are a couple or 3 orbs away.
You missed Boo.
Yeah, Boo has managed to get past, but the thing is, it depends if Karen is just going to decide to try and give up this angle. With the way that he's peeking it, I still feel like he's going to be safe to win the duel. Utility being thrown in, potential that the rest of the players are just still going to try this dive in towards the B side. Hasn't been successful so far. Great flash, but even still the dart is better. Texture this time there with the opener. Karen does go down though. Again, we see these lurks from Boo, and this time it's successful.
They'd already planned on going back towards Boo. You know, he's felt that he had the space. He heard the steps as they backed off, the Astra Star on B. He took it, but winning that fight was essential. Otherwise, this whole squad would be left in no man's land. Instead, they can capitalize on the space. Ult by Meteor to grab the info, and he sees them. Grabs back site control. They've already flooded back in through the choke point. Now they just have to fight on the sides, and the drop from Lakia, it buys enough space. The kills swinging either way, but with Boo on 20 HP, it's down to Munchkin again, but this time, it's Heretics coming out on top. Gorgeous shot from Boo. He had to hit the first, and this time he did.
He only had 3 bullets remaining, and he was just confident in connecting that first bullet. Also incredibly low on HP, so I don't even know if he would have got a second chance, but this is what he's been hoping for. We've seen a few rounds now where he's been taking these fights on the other side of the map from the team, but I don't know if they would have expected him to be able to do this much. A big round victory, a boost in economy, and more importantly, it has sent the opponent's money straight down into the ground. A chance, potentially, for Heretics to build back into this one.
Absolutely. Yeah, they might not be able to buy weapons, big ones at least. They've got a Sheriff or 2, but it's the Blade Storm I'm worried about. Texture's had a lot of big rounds, starting it off with 2 4Ks. Minibu on the other side. No, it's the headshot, but the wall got in the way. Texture lands the blow, and now finds themselves an advantage for Gen G. However, the push is coming in on the other side, and, well, just look at the weapons there. It's a Sheriff and a Classic. They'll find it tough to deny this plant, or even to get damage.
A little bit of chip damage to Wu. An attempt by Karen to slow them down with utility, but that hasn't happened. And unfortunately for them, the player they killed didn't actually have a gun to play with, so they haven't been able to retrieve it. Clearly the pressure being felt though, as Thrash has been thrown in. An extra cost to this round. Meteor will fall, but again, a few players now a little bit low. There is potential for Gen G to at least make this one costly.
Yeah, all eyes on the Blade Storm realistically, but 39 HP, it's going to be tough. You almost need the instant shot, and it's Benji to land it. A third for him in this round, and no, not quite the fourth. Karen somehow making this very costly with just the classic. They can't reload the retrieved rifle in time. Double digits for Gen G, but they're being caught up on. Now the gap down to 2.
Yeah, again, I don't mind the way that Heretics are just making sure a lot of that early control can't be taken. Even in this round where it's just looking at Miniboo, he was 1 away from a Blade Storm, put him on a pistol, leave him on the other side of the map just so you can watch for that utility. And then their overall executions as a 4 have looked pretty good. I think especially the usage of that Dizzy. This time though, it's looking a little different, a little bit more direct. And with Texture having an operator on the other side of the map, doesn't look like he's going to be challenged, at least for now.
Certainly pressure being put on A. This is going to be quite a quick play from the side of Heretics. Waiting out that grab. Well, Karen, he's still in the corner. He's got some support, but the flash has blinded him for a moment. Woot did so well with that. The Dizzy took the side away from every player on site, and then it's an easy round. You'd imagine 4 versus 2, post-plant util for Rienz and for Boo, and Gen G not even going to try this one.
No, and that's the risk of playing those close corner angles. Like, it almost worked out for Karen. Well, he did manage to get himself one, but then when the Dizzy's in, it's so difficult to either like take the fights with the players that are swinging you or manage to actually shoot the flash instead. I think either way, he was going to end up dead. I think the same fate was there for Meteor. Again, the Dizzy having high impact and Woot himself being able to find that many kills. They're starting to get there with this attack side. And obviously, for Texture, Munchkin, saving the rifle, saving the operator is the main thing they need to do to make sure they can at least challenge a bit in the next round, because the rest of the players probably won't have too much to play with.
Good resurgence. Look at this from Woot. He even got blinded himself. I didn't notice that. And the triple on the back of it. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I'm thinking Karen's position is really what's going to get them across the line there, but just the perfect reaction to the Dizzy revealing the players. Although how he lands those shots, I'm not quite sure. Timeout for Gen G. They're going to take a moment to gather themselves. Their lead is now under threat with Heretics hot on their heels. They don't have much to fight with in this round. The operator for Texture, the rifle from Munchkin that they carried through, but investment is going to be very limited on the back of them.
Yeah, I think over the last few rounds, Heretics have started to realize that the more direct executions, maybe with a singular lurker, are what are working out better, especially moving away a bit more from that B site, because the early B site damage from Munchkin was actually very good. Like, he was getting the opener in a lot of rounds, or he was making it so that so many players heading into B were very low. With the A site executions, a lot of it feels more about like, okay, is Meteor going to win this fight? Can Karen delay? He's being left as more of an anchor player, and they're not really respecting their utility. They are throwing the Dizzy straight through it, and then just either having someone dash onto the site or maneuver their way onto the site in a different way in the form of Boo with his lurks. We need to see if there's going to be some sort of switch up now to potentially stack up that site a little bit more. It doesn't seem like it. Same setup on B, that operator for Texture, but again, it could just be the case of, okay, let's see if they go this way. If we can sort of hold onto the site as 2, use those rifles. If they don't go this way, we just save them again.
I think it's the right call, for sure. Play the gamble. They'll push up on A, try to force the issue. Adding in a bit of a curveball to this round. Shock Dart as well, thrown in for some damage, but doesn't land. It has slowed Heretics. The idea here, you contest it early, you get the space, or you manage to push them back in the other direction. A lot of the time, that's what we'll see from teams after seeing that kind of resistance. In the late round, they'll expect that stack to be on A. The op still sitting around mid. Texture's making me dizzy the way he's flicking back and forth. That's the rifle on Munchkin. If it finds 1 or 2, yeah, it could be huge, but Heretics aren't committed yet.
Surprised if they do end up heading back to B. I was going to say, the orb is still there, so they could go retrieve that, get Thrash online, but it seems like, at least in terms of where they feel confident,
the drones made them go back.
Site might be there. Now they are going to head over. And as I said, if they get the orb, that could put them in a pretty powerful position. The only thing I'm worried about is they're heading back into the operator, the rifle. That's also where the Viper's Pit could be put into play. And there's a Hunter's Fury for Lakia if he wanted to try and buy time on the plant, if he could rotate into position. That's the main danger, but they don't know they're walking into it.
They have absolutely no idea. There's the snake bite, even going to cancel out the drone. 20 seconds left, barely any time. You can't take this back in the other direction. It's time to commit. Viper's Pit goes in to slow them, but Texture, another uncharacteristic whiff. And the plant around the backside. The pit's not covering it, but the Hunter's Fury stops it. Lakia grabbing one, looking to do a bit more damage as the push comes around the back, and it's beautiful! Karen's dropped him just in time, and with the spike down, the round is done! Gen.G have made it work! An absolutely gorgeous game plan, and what a result!
They were set up so perfectly for that. Denying them the space on A, the expectation that maybe the rotation would go back to A because they'd seen so many players there. Instead, Heretics walked directly into the trap. The Hunter's Fury, as said, was ready and waiting to delay just that little bit more. And then you just have the wraparound from Karen while everything is going wrong, while there's a mess that's been created. He's able to capitalize. That is a tough round for Heretics to lose. They've still got the finances. They've still got Thrash, and well, they've still got their lives.
Can be thankful for that. 11-9 lead, even with a couple rounds where Texture's not his usual self. He's gone back out for more. They need to be careful, but they are lined up in a firing squad, waiting for this peak to come through. He might get one, but he can't get out, and not even the one to be found. Punish from Miniboo. The rifle's in play for Heretics, matching up this time against the early aggression on A main. They won't be sent back in the other direction this time. At least it'll be of their own accord if they do.
Now we've seen one double stack pay off, maybe another can. For Meteor, the potential for an ultimate. The dimensional drift not far away. Munchin's going to be forced off again. It's the same, but with his fallback, Boo is there to capitalize. They finally managed to isolate that man. But they haven't spotted Lakia. Even still, with a two-man advantage, they now look to head in on the other side of the map. Karen again trying to delay them as much as humanly possible, but both players within the site will fall. Lakia, the last man standing, and well, no doubt going to try and hold on to the gun.
Very similar to what we saw last round in terms of the drones having super high impact. Yeah, the fact that you tag the player up top, you know he has to run, and that's when the swing comes in from backside, even waiting late into the round. The benefit of having global utility like that from Astra. 11-10, double digits for Heretics. You know, you would have thought they'd have it in the last round. They've gotten here in an unconventional manner, but the gap is down to just one again. Gen.G, though, they've been guarding that lead with their life. See if they let it slip this time.
Yeah, I think, again, this is just another bit of credit that needs to go to Boo. I think he does fantastically well, even if it's just like a micro thing, like reading the way that an individual is falling back or how you could potentially pressure someone into making the exact move that you want them to do. I feel like he is someone that is a little bit underrated in that regard, especially on this map. I think he has a great read on how to play that attack side. 19 and 13 right now. Munchkin again, it's the same. Initial contact, snakebite down, trying to slow them as much as humanly possible. This time, though, there is no opener. There's no success for him.
Mostly weak weapons. Guardians are on the way to help out. Guardians of the B site, see if they can hold it down. Meteor does well to find one, but that's all she wrote. Defense here by Texture, steps into the smoke, loses his sight for a moment, but now he's got his sights set on a round victory. We're tied 2 versus 2, rifles for both, and the Guardian from Texture has been sublime thus far. Spike in the open, but a smoke to retrieve it.
It's not dropped in the kindest of positions. Karen can play Overlord, fight from above, and it's left on to Boo again. 55 HP. A bullet will do the trick, and he knows that he needs to try and isolate, but that's why Gen.G are going to look to team up together, fight this one, and I thought maybe he'd get away with it, but not quite. Karon and Texture, a deadly duo, if ever I've seen one, and once again, the success on the B side just hasn't been there.
No, it hasn't. Player like Karen's having so much impact in this game. Those two pieces he's found in a number of rounds have been the thing that tips the scale, dropping the spike just a number of rounds ago and one that they didn't stand that much of a chance in. Here, the reposition is absolutely perfect. You see it as soon as the first kill is found, the simple evaluation. I fought one close, the last guy was in heaven, and he's going to swing off that contact, of course. But Karen's a little wiser than that. He's not going to make it that easy. And again, Gen G defend their lead. They're not letting Heretics equalize now. 2 rounds in a row for Heretics to go to overtime, or they'll be facing into Gen G's map pick, a specialty map for this squad with a 1-0 deficit.
Yeah, and then the thing is, they've had their moments. They've had their opportunities throughout this map so far with, I think, blips that have cost them. Like, I think some of the individual skill we've seen from Gen G just padding the gaps of a map that they literally haven't played before in an official matchup. But also just the fact that I feel like sometimes when they get into the site, things can just get a little bit lost, and just losing the spike, allowing for those rotations to all come in, and angles even being created that actually ended up benefiting the players on Gen G. It's always going to be tougher. You also have to bear in mind the last time that they did have the victory on this map, it was an absolutely lights out performance from Riens. He's down at the bottom of the board, not having the same success. Sure, there's been other people that have stepped up in response. It's not like they are being boomed out of this map, but he's definitely a piece of the puzzle that they seem to be missing right now.
Texture's going up with the operator. He's careful of where that gap is, doesn't want to go falling. Boo keeps this up, takes a peek. In that window, he could be in a lot of trouble. Over on the A side, already the dash in from Miniboo. As he now looks to hold up close, but the spray is a bit whiffy. Again, Karen's able to make it work, but Texture falls on B on the rotate. An advantage now to play with for the side of Heretics. Gen G are going to have to try to recover this in the post plans. Heretics have given up site control completely. Someone's getting pulled off the map.
Already the spams have done so much damage. Lackey are gone. Meteor and Karen, an ultimate available, but probably not going to be used. They just can't beat this firing squad. And while Meteor's position has been revealed, he's going to have to clean these players up so absurdly quick. And Boo has already fallen back into a much more passive position. Doesn't want to give anything away. And even if it's going to be Riens that doesn't get the kill in the end, he's got teammates to fight for him. Another successful execution on this A site. As said, I think the A site plays from Heretics have been sublime so far in this second half. They need themselves one more. And then we get talking about the record they have in OT, which I'm not going to lie, I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but it's something like rounds 1 was like 12-3 or 2. Like, they genuinely are just a monster when they get into overtime.
Yeah, once they have that little breather in between the halves, someone like Boo always capitalizes on it.
Has he lost his voice? That was a little bit quiet for Benji.
Don't know what that was from Benji. We'll ask him later. A timeout from Gen G right here on the finish line. They've been stalled out. One more round needed, and it has been back and forth for the last 4 rounds. We keep that up, we'll be going to map 2 very soon. And Gen G are trying to make sure of that right now. The only problem is, again, those credits, they've fallen quite low. We're not going to see many big buys out of this squad. In fact, even the one Phantom that they've got in play is going to have to be light shields. You've got Guardians, a Bulldog. Well, that would be a glass cannon Bulldog. I'm not sure about that one, Munchkin.
That's the thing, though. These are the rounds that somehow they seem to make work. Like when it comes to this defensive side, you've had those huge hero plays off the back of a Hunter's Fury, and we've also seen the Guardian win them around as well. So it's not like even with weaker weaponry or pieces missing or things that you're going to look at like, yeah, if it is a glass cannon Bulldog, it's not necessarily going to make much sense. But with how much success they've had in these low buy rounds, I'm also looking at Heretics and going, okay, this second half, you lost the pistol follow-up. Other than that, you have been the better side on this attack. Can you now convert this? And I'm looking at the setup as well. I don't know what the read is. Maybe just for the fact that it has been such successful A-side takes, but there is an open B-side right now.
No shields, no utility on Munchkin. He is playing this just with a Bulldog, and it's because they want that mid-aggression early, but they don't get the fight there. Instead, it is the B-side that's threatened, and Heretics have definitely picked the weaker spot. They found the gap in play. Ult used by Meteor. He's got his decoy still to work with. It's going to be set up soon, and here it comes. The big play. The spray is good. Miniboo dropped immediately. Flash for backside. And the spray from Munchkin, good job, he's got that rifle, and Meteor spearheading this push. They've got the advantage locked in. That spray has done a lot of damage to Benji's below half. Sitting inside the cage, just behind it, it's faded and left him with nothing. Now a 1 versus 4.
They've used the divide.
To try to spray, but he can't with the Cosmic Divide. Absolutely gorgeous from Gen.G. They get it across the line at the last second, 13-11 on Heretics map pick.
Yeah, it was a battle, it was a brawl, it was a back and forth, but in the end, Gen.G get the job done, and that's been the thing with this team. You can go into a map that they've literally never played before, they can pull out comp they use on other maps, and even still they take it over the line. And now, well, after this break, they're going to their turf.
From my ex, a dozen different things you wanna ask me. Shut it all down, don't wanna feel 2 different hands on my body. Buy another drink just for me. I'll keep the rhythm steady, rock with me. Let that sink in, I wanna rewrite my own destiny. We've got the same mind, you got me so hot. We've got the same mind, I love you all night. Almost drunk enough to forget 1,000 different things he used to say to me. Shut it all down, get reckless. If you're ready, baby, try me. Get the body moving just for me. Hit the lights, get down, get all of me. Let that sink in, I wanna rewrite my own history. Rewrite my own history.